We are officially, I believe, streaming live everywhere. We're sending data to Twitch. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. We have another live podcast coming, so we're absolutely amazing with it. Okay, let's see. Handy dandy iPad broken out. I'm absolutely loving this new setup, new everything. Let's go to what we have. I need a new iPad, guys. That's what I'm probably gonna get next month. I need a new iPad. I feel like this one's obviously outdated. It's like years old, and a lot of the stuff doesn't even work up here. Like I don't have certain apps only because it just says it's meant for iOS what 11 and up, 12 and up, and this is something way before that. I don't even know what it is, but I'm pretty excited. We're streaming officially, like I said, live on everything. I think I've got my streaming down packed now on how I'm going to do it. So on how we're able to go. Once I get the iPhone, I'm probably going to switch to Stream Labs and then stream from the iPhone for a little bit. It's going to be better quality, or get the new webcam, whichever comes first. So anyway, we're going to start going for the podcast. Um, I think I'm able to view comments. I'm not sure. I say streaming monitor. You feel me? I'm still new to this streaming concept thing and everything. So give me just a little bit to figure certain things out, and we'll be all fine. Like we're good on Facebook. I can see that we're streaming live on Facebook, but I don't know if I can manage comments or anything. So yeah, no, we're only down to one now. I wonder if I can enter the live studio streaming monitor. See if that does anything. I don't know. I'm still learning and testing things out. It's the streaming monitor. Real life analytics is currently not available. Okay, so messages, chats, no chats, chatters. All right, let's get back to the stream session then. Like I said, guys, I'm just testing things out. Still figuring it out, learning, seeing how things are going and everything. Um, like back to the dashboard. It was offline and now it's back online, and so it takes us offline when we do that. What if we enter the live studio while we're doing it? I don't care if we break up or anything. Like I said, we're just testing out right now. It says we're still live streaming. Okay, so I guess we're live like that. I guess we're live in this like that. So we have nobody really looking anyway. So let's just record. Hey guys, welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Ramblings. I'm your host, Angela Roberts Jr., and it's a happy Saturday, as of course I always do, Saturday recordings and everything. But something that I would like to do is we're going to look and review for this week. So I want to know what can we learn from this week? And so I'm going to use this time to publicly reflect on what can I learn from this week. So looking back while doing like the outline for the podcast and everything, I was thinking, what did I learn over this past week as we can now continue to ramp up business and really start going harder and everything. So if you listen to the other podcasts, like a lot of the updates that were going on, the companies that we're working with. On the side, I found this little program called Subtitle, which is great for creating micro content videos for those of you out there who are creating micro content. So let's start right there. Anyway, that's one of the things I learned. Subtitle is an amazing place to create micro content. So all of like my podcasts like these and everything now are going to be done micro content wise through like Subtitle because it makes it so much easier for creating things. That they get a free little shout out for that kind of thing. Um, I learned that investing in your business is an amazing idea. I mean, it sounds like stupid almost, but when you really think about a lot of small business owners and the level of investment that they put into their small business, it doesn't match what like they want out of it. And so what I've realized is the more that I put into my business, the more I get out of it. And I feel good about it. I've recently decided like come across this thing where I'm not come across, but decided to think that we need to establish hobbies again because hobbies are the gateway to businesses. And I'm sure I've said this in a previous podcast or something, but hobbies are the gateway to starting businesses. It's where you get good skills and everything. And so I feel like we just need to bring hobbies back to the Black community because that's where people discover. You start meeting different people that you never thought you would have been friends with because you have this one weird little thing in common, like whittling. What else did I learn this week? Follow up is important. Oh my gosh. Following up is like super important, especially in the service business. I've got a call probably like Thursday or Friday, and I realized I dropped the ball on a referral, and I am not that kind of person. And I realized what happened. And it's 100% my fault. That is 100% my fault. But I realized I dropped the ball, and I dropped the ball bad. And so I emailed them and I reached out and I just wanted to let them know, we get offered a free month. Ah, we haven't heard back or anything, but I did I did, apologize and offer up a free month of services and everything. I was completely embarrassed. Like we flopped on a referral. Like someone went out of their way to say, hey, let's give this person business. And I flopped on that. That was an L I took. And so I learned following up and organizing your follow-ups and making sure you're putting all of your information in your CRM. CRM optimization is very key. That's what I learned this week. I also learned though that at the end of the day, this is the numbers game. Period. Business is a numbers game. No matter how you look at it, business is about the numbers. And the most important number that matters right now and will forever matter and has always mattered in business is measured in years. It counts in years. The longer your business is in business, the more successful it is. And that's just like if there was a trend fact, because here's the super fact. I think it's like 80% of businesses don't last 5 years. So if your business starts going for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years, that's a sign that it's successful. So the name of the game in business is years. That is why big companies win because they're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 years down the line. You ever see companies saying, "Hey, we're gonna start construction in 2024," and you're thinking these old dudes probably won't even live that long. Well, they're thinking in 10, 14, 15 year terms because that's how life works. Things are coming anyway, so you might as well Build for the long term. Why do you plan for the long term? Because if you're only planning for right now, you're only going to get by for right now. And sometimes you need to only plan for right now. That matters. That's very important. It's a skill some people don't have, being able to just live day by day, because it's going to happen at some point for some people. So it's a skill. However, it's still very, very, very important to plan for the future, planning 5 and 10 and 15 years ahead, because that's how life is played out. That's why companies are doing bids and saying, "Hey, we're going to purchase this, piece of land 2 years from now. We're going to, structure a deal in the next 2 years, and then from there, 5 years after, we're going to start building, and then 3 and 4 years after we build, it'll be complete, and then we'll open construction, and then 6 years later, we're gonna start making break even point, and then the year after we break even, we're gonna start making 100 and 200 million dollars a year from this particular thing. But it's gonna take 16 years to get to that point. Now, I think I did the math right. I can't remember the numbers I said, but I'm sure it was 16 years or something like that, right? So it took 16 years to get to this one particular point of $200 million a year, but that's how the game is played. So when you're running your small business, you have to think in terms of, where do I want to be in 5, 10, and 15 years, and start structuring what you do now around that. That is what an immediate solution really is. Immediate solution isn't really an immediate solution. An immediate solution are the day-to-day actions that you take for your long-term plan. That's what I learned. And so I'm thinking, I thought macro before, but now I'm thinking like super macro. And that's just me though. So, but I want to know what you guys learned this week. So if you want to share your thoughts, use hashtag Let's Ramble on any social media platform, Instagram, Twitter. I follow it everywhere, so I'm gonna see it. Use hashtag Let's Ramble. I want to know what you guys learned this week. Let's get into the conversation of it. But the importance of planning. That's what today's banner is, planning. Because we're talking about the future and everything, today's banner is planning. And I feel like I don't talk about planning enough, because I talk about action and doing and executing and consistency, but I don't necessarily talk enough about planning. And so I really want to take a moment to talk about planning, because planning is like extremely important. And the reason planning is important is because it's how you execute. All those times that I'm saying, hey, you have to do this, you have to do that, there's a plan behind that. So when you have an execution strategy, how did you make that execution strategy? It should come from your plan. Remember how I just said you need to have that macro thinking for that big goal, and then you take those day-to-day steps to reach that goal? That is what your execution strategy is. The reason you need to plan is because you need to form your execution strategy, what you're going to do around that goal. So, whatever big macro goal you want, I don't care what it is. Gary Vee's is buying the Jets. Some people want to be president. Donald Trump was president. That's stupid. I wouldn't want to be a president. That's honestly just me, though. Anyway, the point is, whatever macro goal you have, I want to live a super lavish, extremely luxurious lifestyle because I can, on an extremely low budget, and be able to provide for the people around me at the same time. I want to be able to say, hey, I want that and not worry about it, and still be able to offer assistance to friends and family and everything, and be able to give back to the community. Because here's the thing, I know things, and I want to be able to share that with other people. And that's really like where my next point now comes in. Planning, the most important part of planning, let me put it like that, the most important part of planning is education, the information you have. Because the better your information, the better your plan is. Think about it. If you had information about something prior to you doing it, how does that affect your choice? So, for those of you that majored and changed your major, if you knew beforehand what it would be like in that major, would you have still went down that path? If you were a lawyer, if you wanted to be a lawyer, right? And you were going to law school and you realized this is not for me. I don't want to do this. So you change your major. If you went back to, freshman year, whenever you decided to become a lawyer, and you had that information of, I'm not going to like this, would you make a different decision? I hope so. I hope so. Some people, I don't know. I can only hope that you would make another, a different decision. So when you have a plan, you have to have a vision, and you have to have an execution strategy around that plan. And so when you have a plan, you have to have information and education on that plan. I'm big on YouTube School. You guys know I love YouTube School. You guys know I'm talking about this blitzscaling class that I'm in. That I'm not going to say I'm behind, because that's the best part of YouTube School, YouTube University. You are never behind. Oh my gosh. I think that would be a side note, ramblers. If anyone is out there listening for ideas for apps or anything, I think that you should make an app that compiles all of the free educational videos out there and puts them on a platform. So take all of the educational videos from YouTube, from TEDx, from wherever there are free informational videos, right? Informational things, free information about a particular subject in terms of learning and gaining a skill. So it's not just random information, right? It's information that teaches people how to do something, how to be an accountant, how to be a journalist, how to be a podcaster, right? And take all of the free information that is out there that people outtake and put out there and put it onto one platform. That was my side ramble note, guys. Just a thought. I mean, hey, I might do it down the future. So, because that's what I like to do. I like to build things. So if none of you guys decide to do it, that's fine. But I'm sure someone, now that it's out there in the universe, someone might do it. So back to talking about planning. The information of which you base your plan on is very important. Yet you don't want to get too caught up on trying to have all of the information, because no matter what, you'll never have all of the information. And even if you had all the information, it never beats experience, because you can have like, that is information that you can't have. That's, I'll put it like that. You can have all of the information except for experience. And your experience, you can, go find other people's experience, but your unique experience is something that cannot be replaced, which is probably the most valuable information there is, because it's the best way for you to learn. When someone's hurting you over and over again, you learn to let people go. When you have money problems, you learn to get better with, having little bits of money. So that information of the past experience you have is the best, which is why I say do action, because that's how a great way to learn. But when you're making a plan, I always recommend and say, go do research. Go do at least 10 hours of informational research on what it is that you're doing before you dive into it. Because if you can do 10 hours of research and still be excited about what you're doing, then you have something that is worth going for. But if you can't do 10 hours of research to really understand what it is that you're getting into, and trust me, I've done a lot of hours of research on being a virtual assistant, not only on just being a virtual assistant, just being a business owner. And that's come over the course of years of work. I have spent my entire life planning, or making my execution strategy, my day to day goals around being able to work from anywhere. Didn't know it would be called a virtual assistant, thought it was just going to be a business owner working from a laptop. That was my childhood thought. It didn't form into being a virtual assistant until I was 22 or something like that. But ever since a child, the plan has been, I want to be on the beach or wherever I'm at, making money, not in the office on a laptop. And then as I've gotten older, it's now formed. It's formed. And the execution strategy continues to mold around that goal. So planning is very important. And the information you have, it took, I don't know how many years, 10 years, X 10, 15 years for me to realize, hey, virtual assisting is the way to go. Do you think that I would be better off if I found virtual assisting if I was 18? Heck yeah. I'd have 5 years in the game already. But I didn't. I tried other things. I tried doing custom sneakers. That went for a little bit. Tried doing websites. That went for a little bit. Tried doing property maintenance. That went for a little bit. Tried doing property management. That went for a little bit. Tried rapping. That went for a little bit and resurged. Media company coming soon. Anyway, so that's what I mean when I say you have to have a plan. You have to have the information behind it. So now that I have the information of being a virtual assistant, that is what I'm doing. And so it's not just about, you know, your career life. This planning trickles down to your personal life. You have to plan your personal. Where do you want to be on a personal basis? Because what knowledge and information do you have about yourself, about how the world is changing, about how you can better protect yourself, about what you want to do when you are older? How are you planning? What information do you have? And so that is the reason I bring boring people like financial advisors on the podcast, so that for you guys, the audience, to recognize and know and understand, hey, planning is important and I need to start now. It doesn't matter the age, because we already, if you've listened to the other podcasts, go check out the Brian Williams one. If you already start early and have things in place early, it's one much more beneficial for you in the health insurance sense or life insurance, because you're younger and healthier. It's going to cost cheaper. You don't want to be 40 years old with diabetes trying to get, insurance. It's not good for you. You want to start now. So we already know it's beneficial to start now. But if you don't have it and you are 40 with diabetes and everything and considering it, yes, go get it. Not everyone can afford it, but let's make priorities. Sometimes, like, we have to I live in a world of realities, right? It absolutely sucks that some people cannot afford to watch Netflix because they have to do other things. It's about priorities. So if you can't have Netflix, then you can't have Netflix. It sucks. But what are you going to do? If it was between Netflix and food, what's the decision? Oh, I can't have Netflix. So I'm not gonna. I want Netflix, so I'm not gonna eat. Really? Is that what you're gonna do? By all means, that's fine. That's not my business. I don't care. But it's about the planning of things. So everyone's situation is different. So everyone has to do a different set of planning. Everyone has a different set of execution. Everyone has a different set of goals. The important part, though, is that your goals are for happiness. It's about your goals, not someone else's. They should make you happy. That's the important thing. And like I said, that's why I bring the financial advisors and the boring people up here and the resellers, because it's about having a plan and a strategy. And I understand that sometimes all of those big name people like Tony Robbins and Gary Vee and Robert Kiyosaki, it is so hard. It is so, what's going on? It is so hard to really connect with those kind of people because they're big name people. And so when you have, those large names saying, these are the paths to execution, this is what I did, and you're like, well, that's kind of hard, bro. You make like 10 million, $100 million a year. So that's why I bring on these financial advisors and everything like that, because they give you a closer sense of self. Like, oh, I can do that. It's really hard to see yourself doing what certain idols do, right? So if you were a music artist, it's really kind of hard to see yourself doing what Kanye West does. Yet there are thousands of music artists out there who don't get that kind of recognition, who only make 50, 60, 70, $80,000 a year. Think about that. You think that all of these artists and rappers and everyone out here are making millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars. But what if they're only capping out at $100,000 a year? That's good. That's amazing. Even at 50,000, you are living your life. You are making music, right? You're spending your days making music, living your dream, and you're making 50,000. Yet you don't get that kind of recognition. So those are the kind of people that I like to bring on the show to show you what real success looks like. Because when you have it out the mud and then you bring it to what you're doing, it's not a lot, but it's more than what most people are doing because of where you started. Going from 1 to 10 is a 10 times scale versus going from 15 to 20. That's not even five. That's less than half. That's less than half. So what you did isn't, you don't even have 15 and you don't have 20. You have 10. But you started at 1 and that was way more than what someone else did. So you have to take your own accomplishments and focus on your own lane, which is again why I say I bring those people onto the podcast to give you a sense of realness, a sense of where the bar can actually be, where it's, I'm not making millions and millions of dollars from my fashion business or something. You feel me? But you're making $375,000 a year. Feel me? That's a lot of freaking money. And when you're your own business and you're keeping it and you're controlling the purse strings, who can really tell you anything? You make $375,000 a year. You're happy. You don't have to go to an office every day and everything. So, so like that's why. So you sometimes you have to just take it day by day, step by step, and execute your goal because that's what is important. Executing your goals, making sure that you have that vision that you're aiming for, and that every single step, everything that you're doing is walking towards it. And sometimes you got to have milestones. When you have milestones, that's good. It makes the job easier. Let's talk about that for a second. Milestones are extremely important. Why are milestones important? Because they help you ease the mentality of going for long goals. Like, think of this. If your goal was to be a millionaire, it's really rough to mentally put your head down until you become a millionaire. But what if you could mentally put your head down until you had like 10, $15,000? And then what if you went right back down and said, I'm going to go up, come back up and put my head back up when I have 20,000, $50,000, 30,000, 100,000, 150,000, 175,000. That's when I'm going to pop my head back up. And then 500,000. You have these milestones that you're reaching for, which make it easier to breathe and access your goal of 1 million. What's going on? Always got to say hi to the people. And so I'm going to end on this. Those who are faithful in little things are faithful in large things. Because when you are able to do things on a small scale, you're able to do things on a big scale. And that's why I'm thankful the path. That's why I'm thankful for the path that I've been on. Because things have been challenging for certain areas. And so those challenges in small times are what make it easier when you have challenges in big times. So focus on your lane, your plan, your execution, your day by day, and what you're going to do right now, and the little end for the small amount of resources that you have, for the little bit of time that you have, so that you're better able to handle and manage it when you get the opportunity for greater. I killed this podcast today. Woo, woo. All right, guys. So I'm gonna catch you guys later on the flip. Let's see. Do we have any comments or anything? We have someone come on. We have one person on Twitch. I don't have any comments or anything. I can't like officially see it. I wish I could see or anything, but I'll check them out. Uh, Everything's gonna be posted, so check out the podcast. It's absolutely amazing. Everything, like I said, everything's gonna be posted. The live's gonna be up on Instagram. The live's gonna be up on my Facebook, and the podcast that I just did is gonna be up on Spotify. It's gonna be up on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you listen to podcasts and everything. Much love to everybody, all of you guys. I'm probably gonna be doing a raffle sometime next week to start ramping stuff up, get the podcast going, and I'll talk to you guys later. I just realized I'm still streaming.